Bryant head coach Chris Merritt. Bulldogs got the win over Long Island, 21-10 this past weekend, 1-1 in the season, 1-0 against FCS teams. They will take on Brown this weekend at home, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, ESPN Plus. So, coaches, some thoughts on your team. We'll go to some questions.
Sure. I hope we play Brown this weekend. I thought when I moved up here from Miami, I was done with the Hurricanes, but it looks like one could be coming. You know, coaches always say the most improvements from week 1 to week 2. I think anytime you put something on film, you're going to see your weaknesses from your next few opponents. And I think defensively, we did exactly that. We did a very solid job defensively on stopping the run. Quarterback runs were a little bit concerning for us. We'll address that for this week, but I think all around we played good, sound, solid defense with 4 turnovers that our guys were able to come up with. And I think that was the difference in the ball game. Those 4 extra possessions really helped us offensively. We just simply have to execute better. We a little bit more pass heavy this game compared to the first game, but we're working on it, and Brown's going to be a good test. They're a well-coached football team.
And if anybody's got a question for Coach, let me know down in the chat. I'll call on you. So this is Brown's first game, right? So that's how these Ivy League teams work. Does that obviously make them a little harder to scout because they don't have any film from this year? You have to rely on last year. How does that sort of work?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, this is the second opponent of our first 3 that we really, they've had. We're their first opponent, and we don't have a ton of film. Typically we play Brown. We're always their first game, or we're very early in their season. So any wrinkles they've put in the off season, we usually find out and then give the rest of the Ivy League the opportunity to get ready for it. So it's a crosstown rival, and should be good, great atmosphere for college football. Just hope we can get it off.
I think everybody knows how good Zevi is, but how do you feel he has played the first 2 weeks against an FBS team, and then this week 274 yards and 2 touchdowns against an FCS team?
Well, he dropped some dimes Saturday, and that was the one thing that was great to see, given the weather and the conditions. He'll be the first to tell you that he did not play up to his standard on Saturday, forcing some balls in, going to the zone side versus the man side, depending on the concept. So, he'll be the first to tell you that he's got to get better at that, because our offense, quite honestly, he's the best player we got. We're either going to be successful or unsuccessful based on his play. He's aware of that. He's a leader. But right now he's got us in position FCS ball wise that we're undefeated against FCS competition.
And then I want to ask about your running game. So you split basically 64 yards, 61 yards on your top 2 carriers. Is that by design? Is that what you're looking for? To have kind of that dual role?
Yeah, it's a long season. And what the college level has taught me is you have to have running backs. You have to have a stable. Both Fab and Simi are 2 guys that, 12 to 15 touches a ball game is about right. That's not going to overload them. They're both explosive. I think that they're a solid tandem to have in there. They both have different strengths. And that combined with the other guys that we rotate in, just keeps that room deep.
And then they averaged 4.6 and 4.7 yards per carry. So I don't know, your offensive line, talk about that, maybe getting them some holes.
Sure. We're, that's one of the things we've done here recently is we've kind of narrowed down our run scheme. We got a choice to make, right? You can try to be good at many things, or you can be good at a few things. And that's what we've done. And we've based our RPOs off of that, and Zevi's feed as well. And that's been our package lately. The offensive line's done a great job getting good at some things.
Last thing I got for you, talked about last week, the second half against UNLV was much better. You kind of threw that first half out. What about then in this game, like defensively too? How did that transition over the things you wanted to do on defense from maybe that second half against UNLV to the whole game against LIU?
Sure. I think I've never been to Vegas. And, one of the things that I found out the hard way with this football team is there's a lot of distractions. We stayed in a casino hotel. The walk that we take pregame was on the Strip, and a lot of distractions playing in the Super Bowl stadium this year. All these things. I don't think our eyes as a ball club came down to play football until the end of the second quarter, second half. Was UNLV a better team? I would say, yeah, they were. Were they 30 points better? That's that's for other opinions, I guess. But I think the 20-14 score in the second half, after we brought our eyes down to play some football, was more indicative of the difference. And they picked up after that second half where they left off against LIU.
Coach, that's all we got for you this morning. Best of luck with the weather and with your game this week, and we'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
Thanks, Kyle. Take care, bud.